Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, friends, to another episode of Crazy Women Country. I am Donna, and today we are here with the talented Tia McGraff. How are you doing?
Hi, Donna. I'm doing great. So happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
It's my pleasure. I'm so glad you're here. So I know before we started, we always seem to talk about the weather lately. And I not to complain, but Florida is humid and hot. We all know this. It's kind of subtropical. So tell me, where are you at right now? Are you in the US or Canada? And how's the weather?
We are up in Canada on the north shore of Lake Erie. And so the fall is just absolutely my favorite time of year up here because, the leaves are all changing.
Mhm.
Pumpkins are in the fields. We're not far from farmland, so the apples are all being harvested and everything. And so it's a beautiful time of year up here for sure. I love the cooler weather, and I like the snow. So I wouldn't do well in Florida year round.
Oh, absolutely. I've said that myself. I said I was going to move to Canada quite a few times because it's just the heat sometimes gets to me. So I can
Yeah.
totally understand that. And as being a northeastern girl myself, I do miss the snow. That I do miss.
Oh yeah, I love the wintertime when it's snowing outside and we get to just bundle up in the studio and create, and as long as everyone's safe and not out on the roads, right?
Yes,
It's nice. Yeah.
absolutely. So we'd love to start off with the most difficult question.
Mm.
Who is Tia McGraff?
Well, I'll let you into a little secret. I was born Tia Hofgraf, and my grandparents immigrated to Canada from Transylvania in 1930. My mom's side came to Canada from Scotland back in like the 1800s. So my last album was called Stubborn in My Blood, which is very much me, Transylvanian Scot. um, I started singing when I was a little girl. I was very inspired by my grandmother, who had the most beautiful voice. She sang in the old country. Um, so I was inspired by her beautiful voice. And then I started going into theater and songwriting or song competitions, singing competitions and everything. And when I won the Canadian Open Country Singing Contest and started my career, it, people encouraged me to change my name. The radio couldn't pronounce Hofgraf. So what I did was I took the Mac from McDonald, which is my mom's maiden name, and the Graf from Hofgraf and put it together and became Tia McGraff. And that's kind
That is
of,
really cool.
yeah. So thank you for letting me share that. I haven't told a lot of people that. So your listeners today are going to learn something new about me.
I love it. That is definitely awesome. So, how did you get into music? Obviously, you started singing at a young age, there you're saying, but like, what was obviously you love music, right?
Mhm.
But what was the inspiration to say, okay, now that I've gotten older, I want to keep doing this and make a profession out of it?
Well, I was a really, really shy kid, like the type that wouldn't speak out in class, kind of, and I remember when but I took piano. My mom had us taking piano lessons and everything. And when I was about 8 years old, my mom and dad took us to see Camelot, the musical
Yeah.
Camelot. And I don't know, it was one of those just divine moments. I'm sitting there, the overture's playing. I'd never been to a musical, I'd never been to the city before. The curtain opens, and I'm hearing this overture, and I leaned over to my mom and I said, I'm going to be on that stage. I'm going to be on stage. And she kind of looked at me like, what? And, be quiet. Watch the play. And it just hit me. It blew me away. And I knew that's what I wanted to do. And so when I, like I said, I just started going into theater, and I remember one role I had, and I was so shy I couldn't speak up. And we're in practice and rehearsals, and the director almost took the role away from me because she said, you know, you're just not cutting it here. And I was so devastated that I just found this thing inside of me that said, no, I can't, you know.
Yeah.
And I found my home on stage. Like just being on stage for any performer is such a beautiful experience. But I found my home on stage, and to this day, when I'm on stage, I feel most at home.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. I am definitely the opposite. I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to be on stage. I'm good. I'll just I'll be over there. I'll wave to everyone on stage. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so your new EP came out on September 3rd. You want to tell us a little bit about the EP? What's it called? Where can we find it?
This is definitely our pandemic project. My husband Tommy and I, during the pandemic, we were like, you know, like everyone else, right? What's happening next? Where's our world going? Where's our lives
Yeah.
going? And we just started digging through boxes of old songs from Nashville days when we were living in Nashville and recording and writing, and we were so inspired. We were like, wow, these songs were great. And you know, sometimes when you're a songwriter in Nashville, you write and write and write and write, and then they get shoved away, right?
Yeah.
And so we pulled these out, we dusted them off, we wrote new ones. We, you know, we were, and it's called With Love. The title track we co-wrote with Kevin Fisher, and also Go Your Own Way we co-wrote with Kevin Fisher. So the EP is 7 songs, 2 of which are co-writes with Kevin Fisher. Some are from our old days, some are new ones. And you can get it all. We've got it in digital and physical form on our website, tiamcgraff.com.
Perfect. Perfect. And I know I've had a chance to listen to some of it. So go your own way. Oh my goodness. That is just such a positive song. I mean, was there a moment that obviously no during the pandemic, I know everyone was crazy and it was a little, what are we going to do? How's life going to be? What's going to happen with life, right? So is that what kind of inspired that, or was that one of those older ones that you kind of just wrote prior?
We wrote that with Kevin Fisher before the pandemic, and we had written it. We were out in California, and we had written it as a pitch to a major label artist
Mhm.
in Nashville, who at the time she was looking for songs about anti-bullying, and that she was a new mother, and you know, so we had pitched it, and unfortunately she didn't record it. So it was kind of sitting there, you know, in our pile of demos.
Mhm.
And so during the pandemic, I wanted to submit to a song competition and the Posy Awards. And so I submitted it in the social justice category, and lo and behold, we won. And it kind of kickstarted this whole uh, go your own way movement for us. So we decided to put on the album, and it's actually the demo form that we recorded. We just kind of remixed it in that with Kevin and added some other bells and whistles to it. But it's turned out so awesome, and I'm just really excited about it. And people, the message out there with people of all ages, all backgrounds. It's just one of those diverse songs. Go your own way, be whoever you are.
Exactly, exactly. And that I think that's why it's so inspiring because it is just that simple of just be yourself and
Mm.
yeah. Uh, so tell me, who are some of the women that have inspired you in music?
Well, my grandmother, as I mentioned, my Transylvanian grandmother. Dolly Parton, you know, I've always been a huge Dolly Parton fan, but I mean, any woman, every woman, you know, should be inspired by Dolly Parton. Not only is she a beautiful artist, songwriter, but brilliant businesswoman and
Mm-hmm.
a woman of integrity. And also on social media, you know, it's hard not to sometimes get caught up in the, you know, firing your opinions out. And Dolly just always says, no, you know, I'm just going to kind of keep it all beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not get
Yeah.
messed, you know. And so that inspires me as well to Linda Ronstadt when I first started singing was my go-to. I had all the albums and loved her phrasing and her clarity of voice. Um, the new song, some of the new songwriters, I love Taylor Swift. I think she's brilliant. Eva Cassidy, I love Eva Cassidy, and Mary Gauthier, and yeah, Brandy
There's some beautiful.
Carlisle.
Yeah. Oh, those are some great women. And I love that you pulled out Dolly Parton for not just her music and everything there, but her business sense and so. And that's one thing that had just recently said in another podcast to someone else. I said, you know, we were talking about that. And I said, yeah, how can you not admire her even for her business sense? I mean, she's just has such a great, business, a common sense business sense, mind you, too. Not just
Oh
like oh,
yeah,
well, it's not like you have to have an MBA, you have to, it's just that common sense
yeah,
business. Let's do the best we can and with what we have, and let's make it work, and let's grow things for other people. And it's amazing to see that. Sometimes people don't take that moment to step back and appreciate, how she built up Pigeon Forge and Dollywood in the area there. Like, it's like, take a step back because
exactly,
it's
Donna.
just so huge
Yeah,
there.
exactly. And she never takes herself too seriously.
Yeah.
I don't, she or the industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
She has some great quotes when you visit the Country Music Hall of Fame. There's some Dollyisms there,
Yes.
and but also, like you said, the Pigeon Forge and her Dolly Parton Imagination Library.
Yes.
I wrote a children's book called Jake the Road Dog, the first of, hopefully it's going to be a series. I'm working on the second one.
Yeah.
And I got involved in our local chapter of the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. So I was able to contribute through my book sales to that. It's a wonderful, wonderful organization that she started, which is getting books in the hands of kids, millions of
Yes.
books into hands of children around the world. And it's just fabulous.
Absolutely. I mean, that was one thing that I thought was just so amazing. So, well, while we're talking about that, let's talk about your book as well. I'd like to know. So the book itself is about your dog, correct?
Mm-hmm. We're dog people. Tommy and I are
Yes.
huge rescue dog people. And you might see our dogs floating around here. We got Savannah and Miko right now, North Carolina dogs that came up to Niagara Falls Humane Society, and we rescued them just prior to the pandemic. But before that, when we were living in Nashville, we rescued Jake. We adopted Jake, our husky, from the animal shelter. Jake started going on the road with us, and he became our road dog. And he was a special, special dog, like a really special dog. And in fact, people started requesting that we'd take him on stage with us. And he would sit there beside me on stage and just had this beautiful aura about him and very peaceful. And one day we were backstage at a festival and we were talking with some other artists about our road dogs. And it became apparent to me how important road dogs are to musicians. And and so I wrote the book Jake the Road Dog, DAWG, and self-published it. And next thing I know, we're going into bookstores and schools and libraries, taking Jake with us. And I put some songs in it. And so we would have the kids sing along with us. And it was just beautiful, just beautiful. And then of course the pandemic hit, and so that all had to be put on hold. But it also inspired me to write the next one, which I'm working on right now.
That's so awesome. Love it. Oh, so would you like to do some fun 20 crazy questions with us?
Oh, okay.
There's no right or wrong answer, and I promise we will not get arrested yet.
Like school, I used to freeze with question time.
They're just get to know you fun questions. Nothing,
Okay,
nothing
okay,
stress.
cool.
Nothing. There's no stresses. This is just fun.
Okay,
Let's pretend.
okay.
Well, let's pretend we're having some coffee and a diet
Oh,
dew, and you
yeah,
know, enjoying
okay.
the conversation. That's all. So tell me, what is your dance like nobody's watching song that you have to dance to?
um, I love Rush. I'm a huge Rush
Yeah.
fan. So as soon as I hear any kind of Rush song, like, I say YYZ or YYZ, something like that, I have to get up and move to Rush. I love Rush.
Oh, wonderful. So let's just follow that up with what's the perfect workout song in your opinion?
Oh gosh, the perfect workout song. You know, I'm kind of weird. I don't work out to music. I work out to the ball game, the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
I work out to the Toronto Blue Jays. Well, I love watching the Blue Jays play and getting on my rowing machine.
Oh, that's awesome. So, do you row faster when they're doing bad or good? Or is there no in between there? Just
Yeah, kind of. Well, it kind of paces you, doesn't it? Ball, and then in
yeah,
the wintertime, it's hockey. Of course, you got to
yeah.
go
Yes,
faster for
hockey.
hockey. The Toronto Maple Leafs. I guess rid of some of my angst there because we need our Leafs to win.
Oh, I can feel your pain. My team's always been the Flyers, my first foremost, so it's always the Flyers, and
Oh,
they're I still root for them, but I'm like,
oh,
you
yeah,
know, yeah.
yeah. My poor dad. I mean, he's 84, and I keep saying, look, Leafs. He's got to have his Leafies win one of these years.
Well, then I will cheer for them this coming season.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
you're welcome.
my dad.
Oh, just for your dad. Uh, so tell me your top two favorite concerts that you've ever been to.
Oh, well, Rush. I saw them, a couple of Rush concerts, and which just blew me away because again, three guys on stage, and Neil Peart spinning around his two drum kits and everything was incredible. And we were talking. Can I say a musical in this? Because I'm a
Sure.
big musicals, and so um, we were talking earlier about Camelot and how when
Mhm.
I saw Camelot when I was 7 or 8 years old, and it inspired me. I leaned over to my mom and I said, "I'm going to be on stage one day," and I was so shy, I didn't know where that came from. So that's still in my heart. It's one of
Oh,
my most inspiring, you know, live performances.
yeah, and that was beautiful. I remember I was blessed to be able to get to go to New York, living in Pennsylvania, growing up there,
Oh,
and going to Broadway and seeing shows there. And it's something that it doesn't matter when you go, whether it's daytime, night, whatever. It's just every time
yeah,
you go, it's like it's just that excitement. It's that feeling of, yeah,
yeah. Oh, that's on my bucket list to go. I haven't been to New York, so that's on my bucket list to go to Broadway in New York.
definitely, definitely, and go to Times Square, do it all. Be the
Yeah.
tourist. Just enjoy
Mhm.
it. Be the tourist. Do it because you won't regret it. Trust me on that one.
Yeah.
So tell us a couple artists or maybe an album or two that we have to listen to before we die.
Well, everyone goes with Joni Mitchell's Blue, of
Mm-hmm.
course. Um, See, I freeze with questions. I'm so terrible at it.
Well, well, obviously you listen to Rush, so that's someone that if no one's listened to Rush, I know I have,
Yes,
but
moving
yeah, they should go
pictures,
listen to
moving
yeah.
pictures, the moving pictures. Joni Mitchell's Blue, Linda Ronstadt, The Greatest Hits. You got to listen to those.
Absolutely. Those are
Yeah,
some great suggestions. I'm sure someone has like, wait, I have to go listen to that now. After the interview, everyone, remember the rules
yeah,
after the interview.
yeah, yeah.
So do you have any guilty pleasure music, that stuff that's buried that no one really knows you listen to? You know.
Um, you know, I I love putting on classical music and just or just the sound, like what do they call it? Calm.
Yeah, yeah,
The
those
calm,
those
the
sounds.
calm spa music even.
Yeah.
I'll put and I'll put that on while I'm cooking dinner or whatever. And it's kind of cheesy and kind of, and they play, but I don't subscribe. So it's kind of the same thing goes over and over and over and over. And they cut in with the commercials and tell you, if you buy subscribe to it, you won't have all the commercials. But it's like my guilty pleasure is like, no, I'm just gonna keep listening to the same cheesy music over and over. And yeah. And not subscribe.
I love that.
Because we're broke songwriters.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. We go for the free things, and
That's
yes,
right. Anything free, right? Yeah.
absolutely. Oh, I think you probably find some of those type of on like YouTube or somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course,
exactly.
again, then again, you still bad, so
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so hypothetically, if I came to you and said I need to hide a dead body, do you
Oh,
know a good place?
Lake Erie.
Oh, perfect. Oh,
In fact, we're called the graveyard of lakes
please.
because there's been so many shipwrecks out there that they even have a map with all the where all the sunken ships are still out there. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And I know obviously with that depth of the lake and the darkness of it, do they have any exploration or anything that goes on there? I mean, I
Yeah,
know
they
obviously don't
do.
hear of it, but
Yeah, actually, and Lake Erie is the shallowest of all the Great Lakes, and
oh,
so a lot of times storms will whip up out there, and the which is a whole other show we could probably talk about.
yeah.
That we wrote a song about a couple of, we wrote two songs about shipwrecks out here, and one of them was about a lady named Abigail Becker who waded out into the waters and saved the sailors from one of the shipwrecks. So it's kind of interesting, but you can look all this up online and read about
Yeah.
it. It's pretty cool.
We'll have to do that. And yes, that is a whole other show. We'll work on that one later.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell me, do you have a game plan for zombie apocalypse?
What is zombie apocalypse?
It's like The Walking Dead, basically in real life.
See, Tommy would know all about this. Tommy's like all into this stuff. The
So he probably
Walking.
has the plan. You're just whatever he does. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm in. You're...
I think we're living it right now. I just said to him, I walked downtown. We live in this little, and I shouldn't say this because
Yeah.
there's, everyone knows everyone here, but it's like people are just walking around like zombies, and I don't know. The plan is to sometimes I will come home and just shut my blinds and Tommy will come in, why is it so like closed up in here? And I'm like, I need to focus on my work because if I look outside and see all the craziness going out there, it just drives you crazy, right? So I come in
Yes.
and close my blinds. I make it kind of nice and peaceful in here, like we used to do in school. Do you remember when the teachers would darken the shades and everything and cool everything down, and the kids would calm down and be inspired? I do that. That's my plan. And going camping. We're gonna go
Yes.
camping a little bit this fall. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that is beautiful. Love that.
yeah.
Oh, so tell me, is there a job that you would be terrible at doing?
Anything to do with math. Yeah, accounting. Ugh. Yeah.
Got it. No numbers for you.
No, no, no.
Oh. So if you won the lottery, what's the
Mm.
first thing you would do?
Well, the first thing we want to do if we win the lottery is buy a beautiful place called, we want to name it Jake's Place. Tommy and I have this dream, and we want to make it a rescue place for um, dogs that have been can't be rehomed.
Mhm.
Maybe they're senior
Mhm.
dogs, whatever. Um,
Yeah.
that's in our
Yes.
hearts. So we would like to do that, and also combine it with a songwriting camp for kids, something like Dolly would do,
Yeah.
and just a beautiful place for people to hang out and see dogs and and music, and yeah, that's what we want to do.
I love that. I love that. Okay, if I hit the lottery, we're all gonna have to get together because, I've always wanted to do where Florida has a very large homeless population.
Mm.
And obviously some we know that not all homeless want to help and want to try to do the rehab and all that, right? But the ones that do that really need the chance that, might need a second chance or something just to get to that level, it was kind of that with dogs with tiny homes and the fact of have them take care of dogs and things like that, give them a place to stay and kind of a job to work toward and obviously free rent. And that way, we have a
Yeah.
win-win for homelessness and homeless dogs, right? Like,
Oh, that's
yeah.
beautiful.
So,
Absolutely. And in the senior dogs that like could be 12 years old
yes.
or 9 years old that a lot of people don't adopt.
Yeah.
Miko is a beautiful husky, and he was 6 when we adopted him, and they couldn't find a home for him because people said, "Well, who wants to adopt an older
Hmm.
husky? Right? They're going to be set in their ways." And but he's beautiful now. He's
Yeah.
9, and he's just gorgeous. So if you rehomed those dogs with a
Hmm.
homeless person, oh, it'd be just incredible. Mm.
That'd be awesome. And yeah, we have all rescues as well. We have one that is not a rescue, but other than that, all we have six chihuahuas or two that are blended chihuahuas, if you would. So they're all
Yeah,
rescues. But
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
it's
So
fantastic.
tell me, what's the last thing you read? Any good books?
The Bible. This
Oh,
morning, yeah, every morning I read my Bible. I do my devotions before. I love Joyce Meyer, so I have my Joyce Meyer devotions, and so that is the last thing I read today. Yeah.
oh, beautiful. I love it. Do you prefer boots or heels?
Boots, absolutely boots. I've got some great cowboy boots that I bought in El Paso, Texas. Um, and in the wintertime, of course, a cool pair of hiking boots. Who can beat that, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I prefer boots most of the time anyway. I
Yeah.
like heels, they're great, but stuff the corporate environment of having to go to
Ah,
work. Yeah.
yeah.
No,
No
I'm like,
boots.
yeah, no. We can do everything in flats and heels and flip-flops and boots and yeah, no.
Ah,
No need for
that's
heels.
right. That's right. I put on my cowboy boots and step up on stage and look out.
Oh. So if you could choose anyone to play you in a movie about your life, who would you want to play you?
Oh, goodness. I love Hilary Swank. I
Oh,
just love Hilary
nice.
Swank, and I haven't seen her in anything lately, but I I love Million Dollar Baby.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was incredible in that, and um, I just really like her. I think it'd be fun to, yeah.
Yeah, and now that you just mentioned, I think there's a show coming out. I'll have to look at it and get back and message you privately because I think there is a show coming out. I want to say Hulu, Netflix, one of them, but somewhere
Okay,
there's something that I saw. I don't remember where. It
great.
was about her being a reporter in Alaska. So
Oh,
yes,
cool.
anyone that knows where that is, just let us know because if I don't remember it till then. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, perfect, perfect.
yeah. Okay, so this can be a difficult question.
Mm.
Where's Waldo?
Where's Waldo? Waldo's anywhere he wants to be, I think.
As long as he's not behind me, I'm telling you, there's a horror movie
Hopefully
starting.
he's
I'm pretty
gonna
sure.
hopefully he's gonna be with the Blue Jays at the World Series.
Yes.
Toronto Blue Jays at the World Series. We'll see Waldo in the, yeah, in the
Yeah.
stands.
I'm gonna be looking for that. Oh, you you'll have to make a trip to Florida in the wintertime when it's nice, January,
Dunedin.
February. And then
Yeah.
you can, or actually February, March when they do the spring training games down here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dunedin. I sang at the Tampa Bay for the Tampa Bay Rays. I sang the anthem too
Oh,
one
awesome.
time.
That
Yeah.
is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so in your opinion, what's the best thing since sliced bread?
Well, you know what? During the pandemic, we were also blessed to have Zoom, weren't we?
Mm-hmm.
What would we have done? Like look at now, right? So I
Exactly.
really think it's changed our worlds. We don't have to go on the road as much. We don't have to go out there. We can do this now, and we can network, and I think um I think virtual is here to stay. I really do. I
Mhm.
think even though people want to get out there and see live music or be out there doing live events,
Mhm.
I really think for conferences and even for podcasting and for music, I hope virtual sticks around because we not only can you do not have to be out on the road, but you can gather people at the same time. We did that with our concerts. And then after, at the end of the show, we'll turn on everyone's mics and they can all chat and enjoy each other's different accents, and everything
Yeah.
around the world. It's a lot of
Mhm.
fun. So I think Zoom was probably the best thing since sliced bread.
I love that. And it's funny because so many people discovered Zoom and
Mm,
these other alternative methods at, once that hit. I mean, those of us that were in the business world who worked remotely, yes, we still had this capability. We use these for meetings and things like that, but it was just amazing to see how many people took to that and have
yeah,
gravitated and really do use it now to their advantage. It's
that's
beautiful.
right, Donna. Yeah.
So, would you rather cook or order in?
Cook. Absolutely. I love cooking. Love cooking. And even for our anniversary or something, Tommy and I will sit there. Okay, where are we going to go? What are we going to order? And then we'll go. You know what? Let's just get a couple steaks, throw them on the barbecue, or
Yeah.
cook. I love making stir fry. So
Mhm.
so sometimes we'll just make us a nice stir fry or roast. Sunday roast.
Oh, beautiful. That is that. I will say that is the one advantage of being in Florida all year long is you can pretty much cook out without having too
Yeah,
many weather elements except for a little rainy season. But yeah, that
yeah,
is the advantage.
yeah. Do you have a
Oh,
smoker?
yes, ma'am. Yes, it is.
Ah,
I tell you, as long as it's not raining, we're like, okay, what are we smoking today? Like that's usually
yeah,
the debate.
cool.
Are we doing like, a pork butt? Are we doing a roast? Or what are we doing?
Mhm.
Like, different
Yeah,
things. Yes.
yeah, yeah, cool.
Yeah. So in your opinion, what's the worst pizza topping?
I don't know. Everyone says anchovies, but I'm tomatoes. I'm not big on tomatoes on
Tomato.
pizza. Yeah, yeah. Haven't tried really anchovies, but I tomatoes. I find them kind of yeah.
Okay, so what's your opinion? Because this was a big debate early on when I started asking this question on pineapple.
On
Take it,
pizza.
leave it, doesn't matter. On
Love
pizza,
it,
yeah.
love it.
Awesome.
Yeah, pineapple and olives. Gotta
Mm,
have it.
beautiful. Love it. What do you wish would magically clean itself? The house, the car, everything. Yeah.
My stove and my fridge.
Yeah.
It's been on my to-do list for 4 months. And now we're into the fall and I'm going, okay, I better get these done before Christmas because so gonna have to get at these.
Oh, I love that. And it seems to be such a chore with the stove sometimes. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
even the
yeah,
self-cleaning ones are not that great. So,
no, no.
oh, tell me something that's on your bucket list.
We talked about going to New York City. I
Mhm.
would love to go to New York City. I'd love to just go there and experience the whole beautiful, um, like you said, Broadway and Central Park, and yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And if you like cheesecake, definitely go to the I think it's Cheesecake Factory. I can't
Mm,
remember what was
yeah,
there. It may not
yeah,
be there, but they had the best. It was just a small piece. I'm like,
yeah,
I just had to
yeah.
take it with me, but yeah, it was good. If you could be any person or a position, a person like Dolly Parton, or a position like a
Mhm.
CEO or a surgeon or president or whatever, prime minister, who or what position would you want to be
Oh,
for the day and why?
wow. Position of anyone. I thought I'd like to be a president of a record label, one of the major record labels, and go in and change where everything is at right now. Because I've said all along, I think they missed the boat um, because it's an ageism thing. There's ageism and there's sexism,
Yes.
and women over 25 or 30, forget it. You're not going to get a record label deal. It just should be, it's wrong and it should be
Yeah.
changed. And when artists like Dolly or Martina McBride cannot be on a major record label deal because they still, it's just ridiculous. So that is what I would do. Yeah.
Yes. And I agree with you. We were talking about some of the great artists from the 90s, and we were
Mm,
talking about how, you never hear them on the radio. And I'm like, yeah, I think we were talking about a couple that in the early aughts we heard them. And then, I'm like, they still have some great CDs coming out. They have good music coming out, and you just have to search for it now. It's really sad that we have to do that
that's
now.
right.
But
Exactly. We were watching the Little League tournament, the Little League World Series,
yes, ma'am.
and it was so cute. And they were talking about one of the little pitchers from Canada, and he's 12 years old, and they said his favorite musical group is the Beatles. And so here, because they're putting out the Beatles every year or groups like that, or his parents or grandparents are introducing him to it, these kids are rediscovering this music. And if we had that going on with, like you said, like some of these 90s, 80s artists, these kids could be rediscovering this great, fantastic music, these great artists
Yeah.
who were technically stellar. They didn't have pitch control on them. They didn't have,
Mhm.
compression on them. They just sang and and wrote beautiful songs, amazing songs. And so I just think that should be all recycled and coming out again, and so we can reintroduce new generations to it.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. And I think that's such a good point because music itself and songs are timeless. And
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to one of your CDs and you have One Tin Soldier. And I mean, the first time I remember hearing that, because my mom introduced me when I was very young, I was like 4 or 5, to a lot of what we called oldies back then, which were from the 50s and 60s. And I just remember loving some of that music. It was so great, so good.
Yeah.
And it was like, and obviously most of my friends didn't listen to that, but I mean, I was blessed to have a person, my mom, who loved music as much as I did, and just shared that with me
Mm.
because that's how, I just thought it was so beautiful. And I see some of these songs coming back around again, and they have the same message, obviously the same, but
Yeah.
it's like it's great that they are so timeless.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
new Tom Hanks movie, Elvis, of course,
Mhm.
has put that. The
Yes.
soundtrack has been on the charts, so that's great. There we have it right there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, last of the 20 crazy questions, I promise. Do
Okay.
you have any words of wisdom that you live by? If so, what are they?
On my fridge, I have right in front of me, success is truly in the gift of grace and inspiring and changing a life. I printed that out because sometimes we get so focused on success being monetary
Mhm.
success or, um, how many fans are we reaching? How many people are sitting in the audience? But if we are changing this, as cliche as it sounds, but if we're changing one life with what we do, if we're
Yes.
reaching one person with what we do, and it could be just walking down the street
Mhm.
and you see someone and you have a conversation with them and you've made them feel better or you've contributed somehow to their life
Mhm.
that day. To me, that's success. That's, getting up every morning and just being someone who's contributed to the world and made the world a better
Mhm.
place. That's for me what it's about now. And it keeps it simple, but it also keeps it attainable and
Mhm.
joyful as well.
Love it. Love it. So, what does the rest of this year hold for you? Are you going to be doing some touring with the new EP out? Have some more co-writes coming up? What do you have going on?
Yes, so Tommy and I have been kind of dipping our toe in the water carefully by going back out there, and we're going to Illinois for the Farm Conference. and in October, and also down to Nashville. I've been nominated for Josie Award.
Yes.
So we're going to be down in Nashville area for that weekend, and hopefully some concerts and things to tie in with all of that. We've also got some things lined up locally, so we're excited because we're getting back out here locally and we've got a concert called Coats for Kids, where we're helping our local church and our school raise money for getting kids who need winter coats, which is important in Canada.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. That was beautiful. Love it. Love it. It has been a pleasure having you on today, Tia, and you are welcome back
Oh,
anytime.
thank you, Dawn. I'd love to come back and we'll follow up with this and hopefully share some good hockey stories.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to become best hockey friends because yes.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Oh, thank you all for joining us for another episode of Crazy Women Country. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you. If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.